As a realtor, your image and reputation is everything, which is why making sure your profiles, images are updated, accurate, and reflect who you are as a professional is critical. At RE/MAX Results, we've created a complimentary online audit to help you make sure that your online presence is an accurate reflection of you for your customers. So if you're interested in having this complimentary guide, shoot us an email, podcast@results.net.
Several agents participating in it, quite a few. To date, agents have donated over $300,000 just doing it per transaction.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we are here today to celebrate the 100th episode of the Results Driven podcast. And in order to do so, we have the opportunity to talk with Kathy Chimento, who is the Executive Director of the Results Foundation. And I want to take a minute to celebrate this 100th episode by talking about something that's very important to, I think, all of us at RE/MAX Results, especially John and his vision and his dedication to giving back to the community. And that is something that Kathy is in charge of, and it's a really important position, and want to get to know you a little bit better. And in order to do so, I guess I got to first ask, what up, bruh? That's not what your son would say to you, right?
What up, bruh?
Yeah.
We're really cool these days, you know.
Well, Kathy, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you've been officing sort of down the hallway from me, but knowing that this podcast come up, I was purposely I didn't want to get to know you.
Actually,
I stayed away. Oh yeah, you stayed away from me too, of course. Because I want to have this opportunity to get to know you right now and let all our listeners get to know you a little bit too. So, tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
So I grew up in Michigan, born and raised. I moved here in 2008 because my husband brought me over here.
Yeah, are you part of the Hand or the UP?
The Hand.
Okay.
Yep, I live here. I live here.
All right.
That's what we say over there.
Got it.
But Metro Detroit area. Grew up there until, like I said, 2008. I met my husband in college, and it was his last semester of college. He's originally from Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So we did long distance for about 3 years while he waited for me to graduate. And then I came over here. So I did that. And then, once I moved here, I didn't have a job it took me a while to find something. But then eventually I landed on front desk in the Wayzata office. So I was part-time front desk in 2009.
Okay.
My office manager left, and then I bumped up to office manager, and eventually worked my way through a couple different roles in marketing, took on the role of executive director in 2017, made the decision to stay home with my kids in 2020, right before COVID hit. So that was kind of timely. But then this position came back again, and it was perfect timing for me to come back and just be back with the people that I love and doing the job that I love.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what did you study in college?
Communications.
Okay, well, all right, that makes sense.
Very broad.
Talk about what are the differences in those different positions that kind of helped you learn about this business, about this company? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, so part-time front desk was... I just love that role, actually, because you are seeing a lot and communicating a lot with the homeowners, the buyers. You get to kind of have these conversations with them to learn a little bit about their experience, about showings. And, you tend to get into these conversations sometimes and become friends with them just through the phone.
Sure.
But, that was a fun experience for me. And then also just becoming so close with my agents there in Wayzata. I feel like I can pop back into the office and it just feels like, hey, it's just great. So, and just learning the process from beginning to end, from, setting up the showings until seeing them through closing. I thought that was a pretty cool experience that you get from a part-time front desk position.
So did you have a lot of real estate experience or knowledge?
None.
Or is it all kind of coming to you through
just through conversations and, processing paperwork? You get to see it from that admin, perspective. But yeah, that's really how I kind of soaked it all in, is just through, the natural osmosis. Is that the right word?
Yeah. It probably gives you a good sort of a perspective too, because you're able to bond with the customers because you're, I guess, not a grizzled veteran from the real estate world. You are also sort of understanding how they're feeling and coming into this and celebrating closings with them and everything else.
Yeah, it is fun. Sometimes when they would come in for closing and be like, Anne, whoa, nice to finally meet you in person. It's you
awesome.
have those conversations with them at the front desk. I don't know if it's like that so much now, just because everything is done. I was very much, the time where everything was on the phone. So
Got it.
Yeah.
And so then when you kind of elevate your way up and then go get into the marketing department, what were you doing?
It's kind of all over the place. Public relations, events, communications, all things that I kind of just figured out as I went.
Okay.
Did a lot of networking and researching to try to figure out what made the most sense for my role. And I had a lot of conversations with agents just to see, what it is that they need.
Sure.
And so that led me to develop a lot of close relationships with my agents as well. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so at the Results Foundation, can you talk a little bit about what it is and how it's come to be what it is today?
First, I'll say how I got involved with the foundation was because in my marketing role, I was part of events. And so when we first got started, we were putting on some fundraising events that I assisted with, and that kind of led me into taking on the role of executive director with the foundation. And when it was first established, we had scholarships with the University of Minnesota. That's something that John was really passionate about, establishing something in honor of our co-founder, Bill Saunders.
Okay.
So we had that for, I want to say, for the first 8 years, because we were able to see students from freshman through senior year. We did 2 scholarships a year, so that was great. We've since kind of refocused our vision, and now it's more geared towards housing-related initiatives, which makes sense for a real estate company.
Sure, of course.
But yeah, I think we've come a long way, and those first couple of years like I said, it was just the scholarships, and then we expanded into things that our agents were really passionate about. And as we started to get our footing a little bit more, we were realizing that, okay, we really need to figure out what it is that we can truly make an impact on. It's great to have, your hands in a lot of things, but if we're truly going to make an impact, we needed to be a little bit more specific on that.
Sure. So, maybe going back a little bit, just kind of looking back to things that have done in the past, which kind of predate. I wasn't part of the company at the time, some of this stuff. But like, as an event planner, what were some of the things that you helped to create? What kind of events or opportunities was the Results Foundation trying to offer?
Yeah, so the first event that we have, I want to say it was at the Medina Ballroom. John sang, which I'm sure he would love the fact that I brought that up, and he'll tell everybody, go look up the videos. Okay. But John sang. We had a band Sunny Night there as well. Silent auction. It was just sort of a gala and just a way to raise funds for the scholarship. Okay. So those first couple of years were really just geared towards the scholarships.
Yeah.
And then I believe we started the golf tournament that second year at Rush Creek. Okay. Yeah, those were the couple events that we had prior to me taking on the executive director role. And then we just continued with the golf tournament. That's our staple event every year.
Yeah.
We've tried a couple other ones, which who knows if we'll bring back. Events are getting very expensive these days, But, it's also a time for us to bring people together, donors and, prospective donors, to just come together and learn a little bit more about the foundation. We try to bring in some of our nonprofits that we've donated to and have them kind of speak to their story so that donors understand, where their funds are going to. So these events are really a way to just bring more awareness to what it is that we do, as well as what our partners are doing out in the communities.
Since we're kind of refocusing the foundation's mission to be for more housing focused, which totally makes sense. What are some of the partners that the Results, or I should say maybe beneficiaries that have received donations from the Results Foundation?
So Urban Homeworks is one that we've donated to for many years. They're based in North Minneapolis. They really focus on affordable housing. And what's nice about them is that they work with their clients to get them to a stable place. So it's not like, here's a grant and just go on off. They really make sure that they're wrapped around with a lot of care and resources so that they can then take that next step to become, hopefully, a very successful renter and eventually homeowner. Mm-hmm. I'm really fond of organizations like that who take the client or, take their people through all the necessary steps so that they can just have success throughout the rest of their life. Similar to, we also do Habitat for Humanity. We do volunteer hours with them, which is really great. I should say that's another thing that we love to do is volunteer.
Yep.
Another way for agents to get involved, get their hands dirty, and really understand the nonprofits that we're donating to as well.
That's one of my favorite days of the year every year is the day that I don't have to wear the tie. And
Yes.
I can go swing a hammer or do something
could.
else. I
You
mean,
still
I could, but, probably a safety hazard. I think as sort of totally aside from what we're talking about here, Habitat for Humanity, the things that the Results Foundation does, which is typically open to, first and foremost, our employees and our sales executives to participate and kind of get together and have some fellowship and kind of work towards a common purpose and everything else, which is great. It's obviously also a great idea for sales executives to organize and do their own fundraising or some sort of thing. You could set up something to do you can sign up on Habitat for Humanity, right? And anyone can go volunteer, right?
Yep.
But sometimes people just in the community, they're looking for an opportunity to give back. And I've seen some sales executives do really good ideas of just organizing it. And then you can obviously name anybody as the ultimate beneficiary, but the Results Foundation would happily receive the funds that someone could do from fundraising and then see that they go to a good resource, right? Someplace that does good with all the dollars, not taking a lot of money and donating it and then just applying it towards administrative costs, right? That's one of the things with donating. I mean, nonprofits are great.
Yes.
Some are better than others, right? And you're vetting these programs constantly.
Yep.
So were there more? I mean, you mentioned,
Yeah, so we also try, we're not just focused in the Twin Cities. We've also partnered with One Roof up in Duluth and One Roof up north. And then Jeremiah Program, they have a couple different locations, but particularly Rochester is the one that we partner with. So we try to go to the areas where our agents are as well. So
and always open for suggestions, I assume.
Always. So we do on our site too, we have 2 different grant request options. So there's housing grant requests, and that's, obviously for the different housing initiatives that we partner with. But then there's also community engagement grants where the agents can actually submit requests on behalf of a nonprofit that they might be,
like on a board of or like contributor to the
Okay. Yeah. So, if there's something that, an agent is particularly passionate about, then they could submit a request and then we'll take it to the board and, do what we can to support.
Right, because ultimately the board of directors of the Results Foundation makes the decisions about how to allocate funds and kind of the direction. You're the lackey of them.
I'm doing all the dirty work, doing the vetting and figuring out like what makes sense for us and then presenting it to the board.
They're kind of the head and you're the neck, right? You kind of maybe you're telling them which way to turn a little bit.
A little seed.
It's a nonprofit organization run by a board of directors. And, and then you are the person who sees that the things that need to get done.
Yeah.
So speaking of the board of directors, is there any way that our sales executives or anybody else with the organization, with the company, could get involved to help you kind of steer and orient to the future of the Results Foundation and where you're taking it?
Yeah, so another goal that I have for this year is to put together an agent committee. And that's a lot of that is because, I only know so much about what's going on in the community. I can only do so much research. And when we have offices all throughout Minnesota, Western Wisconsin, if I have agents out there who are in the field, they know the organizations that are over there doing good things. And so, if they're on the agent committee, they can kind of help guide us and figure out what makes sense for us to fund.
Yeah, and brainstorm ideas, right?
Yeah.
Come up with new ideas and maybe something that you weren't even thinking of, or bringing the energy to actually get it done. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if anybody wants to get involved with that, what should they do?
I would welcome a meeting. I would love to just, start talking to people and see what makes sense. It's, again, in the very beginning stages of just the thought process of putting a committee together. But, the more I meet with agents face to face and figure out what it is that they want to do, how they want to be involved with Foundation, we can really craft something around that.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure most of the people with our sales executives, they're not afraid of picking up the phone and giving a call,
right?
Shooting you a text.
Call
so they
me.
should just
Call
reach
me.
out and
Yeah.
and raise their hand and say they want to get involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Wildly ambitious goal here. Like, what do you want to see the foundation do in the future?
So one thing that I think would be great for us to do, and I don't know, it might be kind of early for me to say, but maybe it'll hold me accountable to making it happen. Right?
Yeah, hey, there's no promise. This is wild speculation right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Nobody hold us to this.
But I would love for the foundation to have a program of its own. I'm very excited that we partner with the nonprofits that we do, but I would also like to see us have a program helping individuals directly. And that could still be in partnership with a nonprofit, or maybe it's something that we run on our own. But I think that's something that, we can have we can set these benchmarks, we can just have these attainable, tangible goals to reach. And I think it'll just, I think people would really support that.
It is different when you give everyone a collective vision and say, you can't fix this problem, but this is how we can make it different. And if everyone gets together and as a collective, the size of our company, everyone who can contribute, we can sort of move mountains and make a bigger impact. Right?
For sure.
Does require to have that vision and to figure out a way to do that. And that's a wildly ambitious goal. And
Yes.
good for you. I would be
Yes.
very excited to see that happen.
Yes. So one of my other goal for the foundation so far, since we started in 2015. That was the first year of our scholarships. So since 2015, we've donated over $700,000 to the community, various nonprofits and the scholarships included. So my goal, 2025, will be our 10th year. My goal is to get us to that $1 million mark.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're saving this. We're saving that. We're saving that. All right.
I think we could do it.
I think we can.
Yes. This year, we've benchmarked $100,000 to give back. So, that just gives us a little bit more to give back the next year. We got the $1 million.
We can do that.
Yeah. I'm
2025.
excited for that. 2025 we're going to do it.
All right.
I'm saying a lot of things.
Hey,
but we'll make it happen.
We're manifesting.
Yes,
we're making,
we'll manifest
putting these things out in the universe
Yes.
so that they happen. And so people who want to contribute to the Results Foundation, maybe many of our sales executives do, but there are a couple different ways to contribute, right? Mm-hmm. One of them is they can donate on a per transaction basis.
Yep.
And how would they do that?
Yeah, so we have a form. They could just reach out to me, just fill out the form and designate how much they want to donate per transaction. It could be as little as $5. I have some people do $100 per transaction, a percentage. They can really do whatever they want, and then we just get that rolling with accounting, and it just automatically does it. And it's great because so far, we have several agents participating in it, quite a few, and to date, I believe I was pulling some numbers, agents have donated over $300,000 just doing it per transaction.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, they can do that out of the goodness of their heart. But they can also tell their clients, their customers, that I'm committed to, supporting a nonprofit. So a portion of every one of my commissions goes to the Results Foundation.
Yeah.
And they can, that's perfectly fine for them to say.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think a lot of people these days are just, everything is all about giving back, right?
Yeah,
it's
that's, yes.
The Tom's shoes or Bombas socks and all those things. Everyone is giving back in some way because we know that, we're only successful because of the people that we work with, right? And so if we can even give just a tiny portion back, it'll make a huge difference.
Absolutely. But the other great way that it's fundraising, it's also fun, are the events like the golf tournament, where we are able to kind of get together, create an event that's fun and inviting, but the purpose ultimately is, after all the bills are paid, everything extra goes to
right
the
back.
foundation.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
And the golf tournament will be happening again this year. I think it's on a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Yep.
Okay.
July 30th at Bunker Hills. We always do Bunker Hills because they have the space for us. We're very fortunate that we have a lot of people that want to participate.
Yeah.
We, like I said earlier, we did used to host it at Rush Creek, which was beautiful, but we've outgrown the space. So
Another one of my favorite work days of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not a good golfer. I can only usually count on golfing once a year, and it's that for the tournament. And
it's great. Nobody has to be a good golfer at our golf tournament. I bet there's a lot of people who don't even know how to golf.
Right. But it's a great event. It's good camaraderie and everything else.
Yep.
I know that, yes, you mentioned these events are expensive. And, ever since COVID, I think, a lot of some of those annual events, not just within like our company or real estate in general, but we saw a lot of disruption there, and then price increases because people had to go redo their weddings, and there was all that stuff, right? So I feel like we're finally getting this point. Do you foresee the potential at any point of doing a gala again or some other type of event?
I would love to. I mean, honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do is put on events. While I was home with my kids, I was also freelancing, working on events, specifically for nonprofits, actually.
Okay.
And it's just something that I love doing. I love the anxiety of an event, which is so weird to say, but that's what I tell people. It's my favorite form of anxiety is event day, when you're just running around like crazy.
Oh, totally.
Yes, and just putting it all together.
Yeah.
But I do hope for that because it's one of my favorite things.
I mean, it's early. You kind of just started. So
I did.
I mean, for me to be like, hey,
weeks ago.
you got a venue booked for October. That's a little unreasonable, but hopefully, our sales executives, I think our employees, everyone, looks forward to those opportunities to get together, to do good. But it takes work, and having you in this position to be a leader and to sort of put those ideas and see them through to actually and finally executing and doing them. It's a process, right?
It's a process.
And we're happy to have you back.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. So happy.
And I will tell you that I'm really looking forward to working with you to help make this happen, to do good by the community using the Results Foundation, because it's just an incredible organization that we have, that there's dedication and funding committed to it, to have you in this role, so that your job every day when you wake up is, how do I make the foundation better? How do I help our company do better by our community? Well, Kathy, this has been awesome. Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for being part of the team. And we're looking forward to great things.
Yes, great things. Thank you so much.